after 4 weeks. I do have this thing of like, oh, it's not Tencent meeting, it's VOOV something. Like, go to another portal. So, but I'm here. Good to see you. Perfect. I understand the need. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes, I know, but maybe it's just the beginning. It is. You've done some travel as well, right? So a lot has been happening for you as well already. Yes. Mm. Yeah. Maybe I can start with a bit of an introduction of what the practices usually are. I talked about that a little with the introduction session, and then maybe we can go into details after we finish with the class. Yeah. So as people are arriving, maybe I can begin already. Just to share that what we've been doing for these past 4 weeks is a Kai He La Qi, or practice of opening and closing. Open and close, pulling Qi practice, right? So it's just, it's usually the practices are, the names are based on the hand movement or specific purpose of the practice. So this is what we've been doing. It's an entry practice that is made for the purpose to really increase sensitivity and awareness of Qi, and focusing it only on one area, which is hands. And the next practice in the series of practices called Penqiguanding, or raising Qi, is done standing. So includes physical movement with arms being stretched to the side, front, and then bringing hands from the top of the head all the way down to the feet. And there are 3 sequences within that practice. So it takes a little bit more time to learn it. Just like Tai Chi would have kind of like sequences that we need to learn, in the same way through the guidance, like a guided meditation. Basically, in all these 3 sequences, we would learn how to raise Qi. So it's bringing Qi in and then directing it through the whole body. When we do the whole sequence, in a normal speed, it would take around 20 minutes to complete the whole practice. And of course, it can be done in 20 minutes, in 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, whole day, right? Like, so it really depends on how many times we repeat the movement. So that will be the practice that I'm going to announce. I will be teaching it next in a different context. And there is after that there is a practice that is using very much stamina, physical stamina. It's called Xinsheng Zhuang. It's a standing stance, and the purpose is really to strengthen the body. So it takes a while to get used to it. Well, the first 2 are very mild and gentle and more focused on perceptive awareness of Qi. The other one is really to get the physical stamina. And then the practices go further, practicing with sounds and getting Qi to go into the organs. The practice is actually introduced only after we, let's say, become familiar with one practice. We can go to the next one. So if you're noticing that there's some struggle and challenge with pulling Qi practice, Kai He La Qi, you wouldn't really go and move to the next one. Just because that means that perhaps it's good to stay in the one just pulling Qi. So it doesn't mean how many practices we learned that we are advancing, basically. So it's more about really with the teacher finding out what is the best approach. And even if staying in that raising chi practice, some people practice it for the whole life, and it still gives all the outcomes. So I will be talking a little bit more about that with anyone who is interested in further stages of the practice, in terms of all the forms of the Wisdom Qigong. But for today, first I would like to again check if there are any questions about the practice, if anything needs to be clarified, so that we can have calm mind when we begin with our practice, today's practice of pulling Qi. And if there are no questions, then that is okay. That is okay too. So we can go with our practice. Today again I am going to try to bring it for a little bit longer time. So in general, just like meditation, we will go into the length of the practice, enabling the awareness to go deeper, and also for our body to become a little bit more accustomed with the requirement of the practice. There are times that the practice can provide some discomfort, maybe physical irritation, or even sometimes there can be a flu happening, so you can get a runny nose. We call it a Qigong flu. It actually means that the body is really going through cleansing, that maybe we touch the parts that really need to kind of discharge some difficulties within the body, from the perspective of discharging some energy that is not needed anymore. And there will be practice often where we've drawn to and we really like it, and that practice is really important to practice. And then there will be practice that we begin to really resist, and that practice is also really important to practice, because when we like it, it means that our body and mind and emotions are actually ready to accept the practice, and we are at the right time, right? Like the right time, the right place, the right method came, and we used it. So and then we feel good when we practice. But when we are experiencing resistance in the practice, it means that this is where there are some blocks that are really important to overcome. And so there can be a difficulty with breath, there can be some pain in the legs, muscles, or just generally we can't hold the posture, or our mind is going all over the place. So that practice is also really important to stick to, and you will notice after a while actually we become a bit more connected with the practice, and that practice turns into a pleasant practice. Again, this kind of work is called in Chinese Xiu Lian. Xiu Lian means to cultivate growth through the practice. So we actually change our personality as well. Although it's a physical practice, our mind changes, and therefore our behavior begins to change, and our whole personality. So this is a little bit about kind of like some general guideline. If you continue, and as you continue to explore Qigong practice, just to be aware of all of that. Teachers will often encourage students to stick to the practice that makes us feel uncomfortable, just knowing that that is exactly the practice that you need. I have practiced with other students who often, even in meditation, who will want to practice to feel good, to feel better, to feel recharged, energized. And yes, we do get that, but this when we just go with that and choose only practice of that kind, then we will not come to the deep parts of our physical and mental persona that maybe really need some cultivation and shift and change. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your practice. And that's why it's important to find someone, a teacher, a coach, or a mentor who is going to help us to go through these difficult times when we face the resistance with the practice. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you for the question. Yes, it is important to sense. Otherwise, we can be just feeling like, oh my God, like what am I doing here? Just opening and closing, and there's no sense. Some people are more open to sensing chi. You can say energy. We can be more receptive to shift of energy in different places. But some will need a bit of time, and for that reason, when I would suggest to stay a little bit longer, even with this practice, and not even move the hands, right? Like, so it is okay that we are repeating and saying open, close, right? But actually make movement really minimal, and even if you put your hands like this and you're not doing anything, you will already begin to feel some sensation between your palms, right? And when you begin to feel that tingling or maybe numbing, or even on the other side of the hands, maybe begin to do very small movements until some form of resistance or opening will happen. And so that is then the sensing of chi. So the movement doesn't necessarily need to happen. It's when the Qigong practitioner is, for example, giving a healing session to a patient, a client, someone who is having difficulties, physical, emotional, or of any kind. The person would be lying down and not doing anything. So the practitioner would be doing the practice basically with themselves. So it doesn't mean this is what we call a chi field, and I mentioned in one of the first sessions as well that even just us, we can, even though we are not in the same room, we are in the kind of like online classroom together. Our intention is already connecting all of us with the energy. So we are actually supporting each other by sensing and feeling. So if you don't feel like moving your hands at all, you can just sit and close your eyes and meditate, and also it will be equally beneficial. We call this kind of like creating of the chi field all together, and not only for us but for all other people who might be practicing at the moment as well. So yeah, so if anyone has been struggling with sensing and receptivity to chi, try today to just hold your hands without movement at first, and then if your hands get a little bit tired, you can even kind of like lean, put your elbows on the chair, or even try different posture to stand up or to lie down. If you're lying down, then you would be moving in front of the chest or in front of your belly. All right. Thank you for the question. Yeah, very important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If that is all with the questions, then let us begin to prepare for the practice. And at first we are just going to gently begin to arrive and finding a comfortable position. You can have your legs crossed or stretched, or just sitting on a chair, again lying down, and if you will, and or standing up, and just notice what feels right for you at this moment. You can also begin by looking straight ahead, and then as we begin to prepare for the practice, we will be also gently closing the eyes or dropping the gaze down with the intention to shift our sight inward, open up to the insight, and there might be many images, memories coming up. If they do arise, just gently let them go, continuing to focus on the experience and what is happening right here and right now. You may begin to explore that your teeth are gently closed and your tongue is resting at the top of the upper palate, just on the connection between the upper palate and teeth, the root of the teeth. And letting your breath be even, natural, together, not really even thinking of breathing. And at first, let us begin with inviting our mind, body, and presence to come into a respectful, peaceful, calm state. Setting the intention that we're going to do the practice for the purpose of healing ourselves, and letting this intention to also bring healing for our dear ones, our community, the humanity, and all creatures on the earth and the universe. So let us set that intention. May we heal so that the whole world can heal with us. Gently bringing attention to the space above us, empty space, just like a clear blue sky, and letting the top of our head connect all the way up to that space where healing is a natural state. There is this pure primordial chi that doesn't know about pain and illness, only healing. And letting ourselves be open so that this channel from the top of our head comes through the fontanella all the way into our body, opening the inner axis, and from perineum and from our feet opening up to the clear blue sky below us. Or you can just imagine empty space. In the same way, connecting with the healing space and energy of the earth and all that lies below us. Allowing our breath gently, evenly, respectfully. Bring attention to our inner core. Opening all our organs, our skin, muscles, tissues, bones. The gentle movement of pulling qi practice. And you may bring your hands right in front of your solar plexus, your belly, your heart, any position that feels comfortable and right for you. Letting your palms face each other, your elbows slightly stretched to the side, and relaxed, even way beginning to pull qi. Open all the way to the horizon. Close into your dantian. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open all the way to the horizon, gathering qi. Close. Bringing qi into your dantian, behind the navel. Open. Close. 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 With both hands up as you're holding a ball, gently bringing the ball up above the head and letting the palms drop gently towards the top of your head and letting the chin naturally drop. This chi is pure and it is fine. It goes into the fontanella from the top of the head, all the places that might need healing, recharge, energy. Just following with our fingers towards the navel as it lands all the way into Dantian. And one more time. Raising chi up. and for chi to arrive wherever it is most needed. And then bringing palms back up, front of your solar plexus or wherever it's most convenient, and continuing the practice. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, expanding the energy all the way to the horizon of our intent. Close, bringing it back in behind the navel. Open, close, open, expanding the size of the universe. Close, bring it all back in, the size of the seed. Open, close, 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 open, Open, close, open, close, open, holding the ball of qi, bringing it all the way up above the head, gently, evenly, taking a moment before dropping the palms towards the head. Bringing qi through fontanella, down, following with fingertips, journey of qi through the head, down the neck, towards the chest, all the way to Dantian, behind the navel. One more time. Bringing ball of qi up and remembering where intent goes, energy flows, and just allowing your mind to gently guide qi wherever it's most needed. In places you might be feeling discomfort, tightness, or have some health challenges. We will do one more time. If at any time you have sensation that in your mind's eye another person appears, it might be that they too need healing, and just sharing this intention, the space, healing you're offering for yourself be extended, your family, your community, humanity, all the creatures of Earth and the universe. And we then place one hand over the navel, right for the women, left for men, and then the other hand on the top. And we'll take a moment to direct the energy straight into your dantian. Let your mind rest on your palm, and also noticing what is your palm providing for the navel and your belly. Gently release your hands. You may move your fingers, your toes. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes. And if you would like, you may take a bit of water. Just allowing the space of transitioning. Just like quantum physics, really, all that Qi does, it carries particles with information. And this is how the alignment of our mind and the body movement actually enables the Qi to transfer the information exactly where it is needed. And just as we are spending a little bit more time now to open up again, to perhaps share a little, how was this practice for you? Any insights? Anything that was even slightly different to what you have noticed happening in the previous sessions, if you have attended before, or the same? Yeah. Maria, would you like to share? Yeah. Yeah, so this is the way how Qi moves, right? And I'm noticing in Beijing it's quite windy today. There's any other sensation that you would like to share? I have kind of like a sense of like, oh, there's a teaching moment. So sorry. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. 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 Well, thank you for sharing. I mean, it's kind of like when we get into different elements of the practice, and Melissa, I'm sure you're familiar with this as well. But there's this 5 elements theory as well that tells us kind of like the combination of where we direct our mind, but also how different parts of our body actually connect. So the skin and lungs are actually connected with each other. I'm noticing it's very windy today. It's been all these dust, sandstorms and everything, right? So this opening to sensations of your skin are actually very. You can also just notice like, oh, maybe my lungs need a little bit of attention, and the emotion that would be connected with lungs is sadness as well. So if you have been sad a little bit more recently, it could be just because it's been like a situation with lungs have been struggling to work really hard. So it's really normal to also get sad. So if there is tingling, it just means she's going there, and you're having different connections. So that's really nice. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and it is this kind of practice of constantly repeating and repeating. There is no old knowledge, right? Like only the experience of it. And you will notice whenever you're receiving, there's a lot of storytelling as well when we are attending classes. And then often when we kind of like, yeah, I knew that part, but this time it felt different, right? And when it feels different, it means your body received the information. Because we kind of like understand, we can read books and everything, and our mind really understands it. But once when it lands into the body, it really, then it means, yes, that's exactly where it is. So, very nice. I know with my teachers, sometimes it would be like, oh, that's what he meant. It's like 3 years later. I don't know how many times I would hear stories. And it's like later, and even now, when I'm teaching, and sometimes I repeat these words because I think they're important, but suddenly in the teaching I would be, oh, this is actually what it means, because my body would receive it. So yeah, I celebrate these moments. Thank you for sharing, Lisa. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I think maybe the as I mentioned at the beginning, there is this practice of raising chi. It's a little bit more physically. It has more details. How do you move your little finger? How do you move hands? In which direction? Where your hands go from the top of the head all the way to the toes and so on. And it kind of like even helps even more for us really to come close to the body. And of course, like with all classes, one biggest challenge is which time. When does one kind of like go and decide to present the practice? So I somehow decided I'm open for other suggestions, but for those who know, I recently closed the yard where I was teaching classes, and signature class was Mindful Monday, so we were gathering on Monday evening. So I decided to actually offer the class on Monday evening, 7:30 to 9 p.m. Just to support people with beginning of the week, to de-stress after the Monday kind of like challenge of transferring from the weekend to the working week. And there will be 6 weeks practice so starting from 8th of May. So next week we are on May holiday. So from 8th of May to 12th of June, I will introduce this practice. So there will be 3 weeks where we will learn kind of like 3 sequences. It might take us a little bit longer, but let's say 3 classes, or last 2 or 3 classes, we are then only going to practice the full sequence after we learn it. And the practice is called Raising Qi, or Peng Qi Guan Ding, as it is in Chinese. So it will be online. I will be using Zoom. So all the information, how to contact me, I mean, I am in the group as well, but there is a little bit of information on my website as well, on Dalida Turkovic, and that Ch is actually C. Excellent, yeah. Okay, great, dalidaturkovic.com. And then you will see there are 3, there's a practice section, and under the practice you will see Qigong, mindfulness, and then coaching. And if you click on Qigong, yeah, maybe I can, there it is, mine went through. I think I shared it in the previous one as well. And then just looking at the under the practice section, so you will see there I put some information and my WeChat account. So the practice will be this is kind of like the starting promotional initial offering. So 1,000 RMB for 6 weeks practice of 1.5 hours each. So I'm excited to share this. I will work with 1 person or with 10, it doesn't really matter, or however many people show up. And if there's one and this time is really not right, then we will find the time together. Let's put it that way. So let me know if this is not, again, I do have flexibility. I'm kind of like thinking often evening classes, I have availability on Monday afternoon as well, but not on Tuesday, not on Wednesday, and so on. So let's work with this together, I guess. Yeah. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the day, and yeah, may all be well, as we can set the intention for Qi to come. Enjoy. All right. Yeah. Bye.